Thank you for watching T.M.I, and I'm your host, Jayda Elise. Summer is close to an end, and back to school begins again. As each adolescent begins a new grade year, most students are dreading the upcoming return to the classroom. Let's be honest, a lot of us hate school. There's no denying it. Sitting in class all day is not exactly what most kids or even adults want to do with their time. However, most of our youth don't realize how fortunate they are to have education so readily available and only costs time and money. Some students are heartbreakingly less fortunate, with the added cost of their young lives being at stake just for an education. Such is the case for children in one municipal city in Davao, the Philippines, where elementary students have to cross whitewater rapids and slippery hiking trails just to get to school. Some of them even went the extra mile and carried the school chairs on their backs just so the poor third world school would receive chair supplies. Chairs were delivered to another distant destination and not the original location because the path to the school was still rural and mountainous with no roads. Students who had to carry the chairs up and down the mountains even had to devise a way to get them across the rapid river. That is when they invented the improvised cable car made out of bamboo and ropes. That is actually a dangerous thing for these children to be doing. However, most of them have no choice. Since they come from poverty and education is the only safe and legal way they can do right for their families, their school, despite getting its new set of chairs, is also quite poor and have scarce supplies and teachers. But they may do whatever they have, and they're astounding hardworking students. This is just one of plenty of cases among millions of children in the country working hard and risking their lives just to get an education. A lot of them, as well as their schools, need help. So as the new school year begins, I hope all who are more fortunate than these children are grateful for the education that is provided to our great nation. Keeping on the subject of education, LeBron James knows what it's like to be an at-risk student himself. As a fourth grader, he says he missed 83 days of school. 83 days of school while he and his mother moved from one couch or spare room to the next. LeBron James has had a very prolific journey from risk adolescent to a pro basketball superstar. But now, James's journey is extending into philanthropy with the grand opening of his school in Akron, Ohio. 240 third and fourth graders will make up their inaugural class, which opened a few weeks ago in James's hometown of Akron, Ohio. The unconventional but astounding I Promise School is a public school formed in collaboration between James's Family Foundation and Akron Public Schools. Its out-of-the-box offerings include a long 8-hour school day, as well as a support circle for students after lunch and GED courses and job placements for parents. All are driven by James's mission to help kids overcome what he faced as a low-income student in Akron. James, who is a 3-time world champion, said this is the greatest accomplishment of his life. With one of the, if not the top sports stars in the world taking a major step in philanthropy, I hope Mr. James' actions inspires other sports stars and figures of his caliber to follow suit in his mission to take great strides in bettering our nation and helping the less fortunate. Keeping on subjects of athletes, LeBron is one of the highest paid players in the league right now. And with that acquired wealth, he has been able to venture out and do some various things, such as launch his own school, pursue acting, and even produce his own show. But those are just a few things that some top players are able to do with their money. Well, top men's pro basketball players, that is. Which brings us to our next topic and story. What about the highest paid women players in the pro basketball league? Are they being accommodated the same as their male counterparts? Well, the answer is no. Players like Maya Moore, Brittany Griner, and Cheyenne Parker, who are stars among the league, are barely getting paid 6 figures a season. Fair? No. 6-figure deals aren't uncommon in the world of basketball, unless you're a woman. Unlike male superstars Steph Curry, LeBron James, and James Harden, the athletes of the WNBA work harder for less than half the pay. WNBA players earn 20% of the NBA player's minimum salary. WNBA salaries cap out at $111,000, a far cry from the highest paid NBA player. Out of 157 WNBA players, 89 of them play overseas for one reason: more pay for play. Although they are well paid and given more recognition than in the States, there's a downside to playing overseas. Playing for both leagues year-round, which means no time for R&R. Median salaries in the WNBA are around $71,635, and starting salaries are $50,000, while players in the Euro League start at $100,000. To put everything in perspective, the minimum salary of a professional NBA player is $582,180. That's actually a $10,000 raise from the last season's minimum, which was $562,493. For the NBA referee's salary, though, $150,000, which goes to show that even refs who aren't athletes make more than WNBA champs or players. Matter of fact, the entire roster. The WNBA isn't the only league that hasn't been paying women equal to their male counterparts. After years of unequal pay in 2017, the U.S. women's soccer team came to an agreement with the U.S. Soccer Federation where the women would get better hotel and travel accommodations, and 2 years of back pay when their per diems were less than men. President of the WNBA, Lisa Borders, believed one of the reasons women aren't being paid enough is because of sexism. Borders stated, "There is a lot of sexism that still goes on. People do not believe that women can be superb professional athletes. That, frankly, is an ignorant view. But if you haven't had the opportunity to experience a game, then perhaps you have an uninformed perspective. We invite folks into the area to actually see the game." Despite Lady Ballers being paid significantly less compared to the other major leagues, the WNBA has more players with college degrees than any other league to date. There is the only league that requires 4 years of education post-high school to be eligible for the draft. Pay disparities is an issue in sports on a broader scale as well. There is a list that consists of today's highest paid athletes from 23 countries, and there are no women featured on this list. Last year, Serena Williams was the only woman who made the list with $27 million. Emotional intelligence, the capacity to be aware of control and express one's emotions and to handle interpersonal relationships judicially and empathically. The term first appeared in 1964's paper by Michael Beddock. But how does one use their emotional intelligence, or EI, appropriately? The answer you want can be found in this book, Emotional Intelligence 2.0 by Travis Bradbury and Jean Greaves. In today's fast-paced world of competitive workplaces and turbulent economic conditions, each of us is searching for effective tools that can help us manage, adapt, and strike out ahead of the pack. That's just a brief description of this book. It can help you adapt, develop, and strategize in any aspect of life you see fit. The book, which was published on June 16, 2009, is still making an impact in 2018. This book was also reviewed by the Dalai Lama and even made a cameo in an episode of Orange is the New Black. This book has 66 proven strategies to increase self-awareness, management, social awareness, and relationship management. It is a book I suggest all to give a read. It's one of those books that can possibly help you when dealing with people. Remember, you are not dealing with creatures of logic, but with creatures of emotion. Dale Carnegie. That's our show for today. I hope you guys have a hell of a day. I'm your host, Jayda Elise, and this is T.M.I.